My kids keep messing with the audio. I'm going to have to move the whole, I'm going to have to move this whole operation. I'm thinking I know where. My wife doesn't use the study anymore. There's no one in there. I can keep people out. Think we're moving the whole thing. See, this may be the last time you will see this shelf because I may be moving everything over because I'm tired of the babies. They keep moving dials around like there's a million dials that have been moved around. And I had these at perfect levels back in the day, and now they've just been messed up, and I don't know where they should be. I don't know where they're at right now. They can't do tests anymore, but they have just messed up. I mean, all the dials, the babies just mess with them. This is also their toy room, so I cannot get it right. Ahoy there, Alan. How are you? You know who says ahoy there? Bauer from Bauer's Game Corner. He's a board game reviewer. I really love watching him when he's on when he's at Gen Con. He does Gen Con streams. Anyway, I did not get to play any board games. Hey Lance, did not get to play any board games, Michael. I'm bummed. Week number 2, 2 weeks since the last board game night. So it looks like it's going to be once a month, which means I have 8 more games for the rest of the year, game nights for the rest of the year. I am beyond bummed. Maybe when my nephews get out, I can do one. I know a friend of mine at the college. He's a professor at the college. When he gets out, we'll have one. But it is, the gaming group is, they have died. So clock it as of March, it's dead. So once a month will be my game nights. It's so disappointing, so disheartening. I really wanted to play more. So here I am, another weekend. I mean, I got a lot done. I read a book. Someone got me a book. They put that message in our description. Oh yeah, they do. Um, open up a board game cafe for real, man. I should. You've had 2 board games, desperate to play. Yeah, no one to play with them either. Um, oh yeah, American Pope. If you don't watch Lance, Teresa, Miss Martin Muses. She's a Catholic. She does a lot of Catholic streams. Miss Martin Muses. So Teresa's not. We're going to be doing. Hopefully, we'll be doing a Babylon 5. I started off my Babylon 5s with her and Tim, and then something happened, and she dropped, and Tim and I finished the season in the movies, but we didn't do Crusade and the other movie, Lost Tales. And so she has agreed to pick back up. Yeah, she did that. She did one last night. Mm-hmm. Nothing I can do about the internet. They said everything's working fine, but here it is, super low. I am right next to the router, right next to it. The only thing next would be just to plug it in directly, and then everyone lose their Wi-Fi. So it's just going to be terrible Wi-Fi from here on out. The storm came through this past weekend. It knocked the cable out. It's not been the same, you know. So it's sad. I've reset the router twice. So we're just going to be, there's some type of line that got hit by a branch or a tree that's blitzing. So until the next storm comes around and knock everything out, I'm just cursed with bad internet. So it's crazy because sometimes uploads will go so slow, and then all of a sudden they'll speed up again because it goes up and down. Recently started getting into Legends, and you love it so far. Awesome, Papa G. Which book did you start with? Hello, Jordan. How's it going? Yeah, tell her. Yeah, tell her. The Catholic streams. Yeah, Teresa's really nice. She's really nice. See, did you see that? It's like the maybe it's this thing. My kids took all the wires and messed up everything, so I think I'm going to have to move the whole set. But anyway, Michael did not get to play games. I got some games coming in, but I won't get to review them until when? July? If I'm going to have board game once a month now, which looks to be the case. And to be honest, that not next weekend, but the next 3 weekends, I'll be wanting to see a movie. I'll be going to the theaters back to back to back. Mission Impossible, Karate Kid Legends, The Ballerina. And then later on, I will hold my nose and hope the Conjuring 4 doesn't suck. And then I'll probably still see Predator Badlands with Bruce. I know he really wants to see that. And that's it. That's the only movies I want to see, unless there's some good re-releases coming out that I want to see, of course. I don't play Monopoly. I had one Monopoly game a long time ago called Mario Go-Kart Monopoly. It was fun. It was fast. It kind of played like Mario Go-Kart. And that's one game that my little girls, they've never touched my board games before, but one day they grabbed that game and tore it to shreds. I mean, I had all the little promos. I bought them all because I think I bought that game when Toys R Us was going out of business. They had all the, you could be different characters, but everything was like 50% off or 80%. And I bought them all. I bought it all. So I had all the promo characters. Now that game costs like $80, $100. It's not worth that much to me with all the promo characters you can play and their abilities. But the kids, the girls tore up the cards, crunched up the coins, their cardboard. I mean, broke off the heads of the go-kart. I mean, they've never done that. They'd never done. I think when we first moved here, they were 3 or almost 4, and they just tore it up. And it's so weird because they had never. My babies, they get into everything. They never touch the games. They never touch the board games. Everyone knows to leave those alone. So it's just kind of crazy why they took that one and tore. I mean, the board. They tore the board up into 4 pieces. I was like, why did you? I mean, I don't think they even got a spanking for it either. I was just like so shocked because they never act that way. It's crazy. Hey, Brady. I kept waiting. Oh, Brady, I did not respond to you. Where's my phone? Oh, no. I put the phone on the charger. I never responded. Hold on. I'll make it up to you. Brady was talking about doing a stream, and I was still trying to get someone to come over and play games. Hold on. Let me see. I just took this off the charger. Doggone it, Brady. I'm sorry. Let's see. But I was trying to get my brother to come over. No, not my brother. My older nephew, who has not come over in almost a year. No, it's probably been over a year now. He's just done. I offered dinner because he's on his own, college kid on his own, and doing his own thing. Wow, the internet is extremely slow. I don't even know. I can't even see my screen now. Huh. There it is. Now I can see everything. That kind of froze up. Everything's kind of frozen. Goodness gracious, the internet's terrible. But anyway, yeah, I was trying to get my nephew over who's never come over. My other nephew comes over maybe once every 2 months, couldn't, which I knew. Maybe when he gets out of school toward the end of the year, we'll have one game night. My other gaming group is gone. They're gone. They're gone. I'll be lucky if I can get anyone from that group. So Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, but March was the last time I played on a weekly basis, and now end of April. So I waited about almost 30 days to play, and it looks like it'll be end of May before I get another game day, and that sucks. That sucks so bad. I used to have friends. I used to be popular. Yeah, it's not supposed to be played like Monopoly. Yeah, yeah, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit. It had a Monopoly theme, but yeah, it was a little different version. Hello, Andres. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, as always, it's just an opinion, right? We're just talking about opinions here and preferences, and to me, like today, I just sent someone sent made a comment and said, "Oh man, I really like Andrew. You should try it. I'm loving it." Great. I'm happy you love it. I don't mind anyone enjoying it. It's fine. I'm not going to try it. I don't care about new canon. I don't care. And to be nice, I don't care. That's the only thing. I don't care. It's like, Matt, I really wish you'd watch soccer. I really love it. Okay. I'm not impressed with soccer. I'm not going to watch soccer. To me, soccer sucks. But to other people, they love the World Cup. They love soccer. That's what this is. Your personal likes and dislikes on shows and stuff like that. And you know, um, I'm fine with that. Just don't try to say you have to watch this. No. Well, can I make fun of the things I think it's soccer stupid? Yes. Matt, that soccer's not stupid. You're just kind of picking. Yeah, well, I don't appreciate soccer, so I make fun of people just kicking the ball around. But you people can make fun of the other sports too. It's fine. I think baseball's boring. Oh, okay, it's not. To me, it's not. To others, probably so. And then they can make fun of it being boring all day. But I was like, do I get on there and go, you should give it a try? You're not giving it a fair shot. You need to sit down and watch an entire season. No, but when we talk about entertainment, suddenly, you can't talk bad about that. You better sit down. You better give it a fair shot. Why do I have to? I don't have to do anything. You don't have to either. You can agree or disagree. We can still have a conversation about it, though. But yeah. Yeah. New Joe Order and Legacy of the Force, two best series. Oh, yeah. The Legacy comic books, Jordan, I agree with you. Every character in that series, man, they've really torn up my setup here. Maybe I don't know how my mic just got muted. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, but John Ostrander's Legacy comic books, never a bad character, is there?
No, there's not.
There's not. I'm sure. Who else did you text today? You text Scott Johnson. I'm sure
Yeah,
he's in bed, but I think
yeah.
I think he said it's okay to call him consistently at this time of night. If you
Really?
want to go ahead and do it, yeah,
Call
I'll.
them
I'm.
live?
Yeah, I think you should call him
Huh.
several times.
Several times. Just spam
Mhm.
call them. I'll let you. I'll
No,
let
that's
you.
not spam code. He said just keep calling till he wakes up. That's what he said.
Sure.
Yeah, you do that. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't respond back to you.
No, you're good.
I was waiting to see because I just texted my nephew. It was around noon. You sent that, right?
I think so.
I can't
Something
remember.
like that.
I saw it around noon, but
Yeah.
I'd sent something to my nephew that morning, asking him last ditch effort to have company over, and he works till 5, and after 5 I can't. But by 6 I was like, okay, he's not coming. So I
Mhm.
put the phone on the charger, fed the kids, bathed the kids, brushed their teeth, played with them, put them to bed, watched the Mets beat the Cubs. Let's go Mets! And then went cleaned a little bit, and then came here. I totally forgot. Totally
Yeah.
forgot.
It's okay.
Um,
I it's my birthday tomorrow, and we went to dinner tonight. And so I ended up.
Happy
I was
birthday.
well. Thank you. I ended up I was really full. And I was like, I don't feel like streaming. And so,
Well, I did in between the baths and brushing teeth. It hit my mind. I went, dude, I wonder if they're streaming. I said, well, after all this, I'll just jump on.
Yeah.
If they're streaming, I didn't even bother check because I was in the middle of taking care of all the kids. But
oh no,
either way,
yeah, the Scott didn't reach out again about it.
Okay, I saw.
What's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I saw. Well, I was on Alex's stream yesterday, and so I was like,
I saw that.
Kind of, I guess, streamed out a little bit, but I've rested since. So
you've rested since. Good for you, Michael. Yes, and I am close because they were playing the trilogy, weren't they? Once, like last year, didn't they play all three? And I wanted that to come to our area, and it didn't. I love Last Crusade, and I'm going to ask my brother because he'll be here. And if my brother is in, I'm in.
What's better, Raiders or Last Crusade?
Raiders is classic.
Okay, yeah, I think so too.
But Last Crusade is really good, really good. And you know what? Temple of Doom, respectable three, not even far behind. Rewatching it, see, for us as kids, that was the one we were never allowed to watch as kids. Hamam Shaba, right? With the little beating heart. So mom and dad forbid it. But then after a few years, they forgot. They got the three movies mixed up. My grandmother, back in the day, Burger King was, you buy something at Burger King, a Whopper, you get a tape for $4.99, one of the Indiana Jones tapes. So my grandmother bought all three. So she had Last Crusade. My mom and dad didn't watch, they saw Indiana Jones on the TV and they just walked away. They'd forgotten about Temple of Doom. And so we would keep popping in Temple of Doom. And like, this was like new indie we'd never seen before. And it was awesome. There was a kid, Roundhouse, who was our age, fighting with Indy, and it had a cool heart scene. It was pretty bloody and gory, it's dark, and we loved it. And the scene on the bridge with the blade is classic, chopping the bridge, everyone falling down. And so we ended up for a short while, that was our favorite indie film of all time because that was the forbidden one, that one we didn't have at our house, but only at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother was in Alabama, northern Alabama. So we only saw her maybe twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once. No, really just once or twice a year. But when we went to her house, it's maybe once a year. So, I mean, we only got to play it around Christmas or Thanksgiving. And it was just it was a treat. It was a treat for us. And watching them all again, it's not in fact, the opening scene is great.
Mm-hmm.
The opening scene is great. So I really enjoy Temple of Doom. And if it wasn't for how daggum good the other two were, then Temple of Doom would be right up there with them. It needed, like Roundhouse is great. He's great. The No Time for Love, Dr. Jones. Get out of here. I love it all day. Give me it. The girl, she's kind of annoying, screaming all the time, but I didn't mind that either. And the only thing is Sean Connery as the dad is so stinking good. He's such a, they really took all the characters and gave them, this kind of all these side people he's met all the time and kind of gave them. And Last Crusade, best ending for Indy, right? Riding off in the sunset with his dad and friends. That's how you end it. That's how, and in fact, I would have been so happy to see more Indy if they would have said it as a kid. Now I wish they never made him because that image of him riding off into the sunset is perfect. It's perfect.
I actually like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I was also that age. I was the age for it. I was 10.
There are some scenes I enjoy from it. The motorcycle scene, the fight at the beginning. I don't mind nuking the fridge. I like that. That's classic Indy. That did not bother me. But the crystal skull itself was just, and that was something that George just had to have in the thing. Did I read it? I read the first two books and gave up. I remember I had my finger on the trigger to buy everything, all the comic books, all the children's books, all the novels, everything for like, it was a total of $400 or $600. And like I marked it all on eBay years ago, back when the stuff was kind of still easy to find. And omnibus, all the Dark Court omnibuses were out and everything. And I was like, but I read those first 2 books and went, I'm not hooked. And maybe I should have started reading them, maybe, but I didn't.
I'll be right back in just a second.
You take 2 seconds. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I think people get that mixed up, right? You know, I still have opinions. I still think I'm right about a few things. People obviously think I'm wrong. Again, though, you know, we can argue about it. And then I get bored with that stuff, though. I get so bored with that. Let's talk about things we like. You know, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it. Oh, you were the one that just made that tonight? He's probably asleep by now. Okay. Well, I said I'm glad you like it. It's not for me. It's not for New Canon. Mm-hmm. Oh, Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis are so good. Babylon 5 is great. Rewatching that was a super treat. Star Trek. One day I'll watch through all the old Star Trek stuff. Up into what? Nemesis. I'll watch all the way through that. The original series of Nemesis. That's about it for Star Trek for me. Oh no, you can't hear me. Oh, well, maybe there was. Sorry. I'm so far behind in the comments. What are my thoughts on the Lord of the Rings books? Those are my favorite books ever. I love the Lord of the Rings. I'm heavily tempted this summer to bring them and The Hobbit and read them through. Those may be my summer books now. They're up high on the list now. The movies, absolutely hated them. I'm a book snob when it comes to that. I think it's gone from theaters now, isn't it? And I didn't get a chance to see it. I was too busy with the kids, and I didn't have any free time. Dang it. Yeah, see, they didn't play it here, Michael, and I wanted to go to that one. I would have gone to in a heartbeat. Now, I'm going to ask my brother if he's going to go, then that's on. Raiders of the Lost Ark is really good. Willie, it can be annoying at times, but overall, I think Temple of Doom is solid. The Andor controversy, we didn't really get to address it, but there's been worse moments in the EU. I talked about it on a more civilized age. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Okay, Dr. Jones. I loved Short Round because remember, I was a kid back then. Relic. There's few people in this world I miss speaking to right now more than you, sir. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. This is a good man here. Great man. Used to scare the poop out of my little brother when we was kids. Oh yeah. See, but that stuff there, gold, right? Gold. And it was like the forbidden indie movie. And so for years as kids, that was why it was our number one. Indiana Jones is great. You should watch it. My cousin's watching Raiders. Face melting scene. Oh, the face melting scene is great. I did rewatch Young Indiana Jones, and it's okay. I had no idea that toward the end they do an adventure that ties into Temple of Doom, and it's so sweet. The jewel that they're giving away at the very beginning is something that they caught in one of the last 2 episodes of Young Indiana Jones. They were tying that in, and they were supposed to be like season 3 was supposed to tie in more to Temple, because Temple of Doom is the first adventure. And so that was going to lead into more. And Young Indiana Jones Chronicles connects to oh no, what was it? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Because he asked Indy, how do you know so much? He went, I rode with Pancho Villa for a little, and that was an episode of Young Indiana Jones when he rode with Pancho Villa. So Young Indiana Jones is solidly, I mean, referenced and has shares connections to the movies, both past and present, and future movies that got made. It made connections to both of them. Wow, look at that. Michael enjoyed the fifth one too.
It was all right.
Like I said, there's moments, but the swinging from the vines is awful. The CGI ants were bad the day the movie came out.
He's
Even
talking
though I
about the new one that just
the fifth one. Oh, never mind. Oh my! I can't.
I
See,
didn't hate it like I did the Disney sequels, the Disney Star Wars sequels, but it was. I'm just glad they didn't kill him off like they were. I think they were going to, and then they changed it. But
good, John. I'm glad you're well. We need to catch up sometime, sir. I hope you're doing well. The films, yeah, it has connections to the films. Yeah, Indy did. Dial of Destiny is so messed up. I remember I fixed the movie. I can't remember if I did that on a podcast or what, but I fixed the movie once after watching it. It's just the Short Round actor was still around. Yes, he hadn't had his breakthrough movie, but he's a legacy character. If they're going to bring all these old legacy characters back in, bring someone who's, who has something. They could have discovered him. Indiana Jones, right before I can't remember Everything About Anything movie, which was good. Everything About Everything All at Once, whatever that movie was. I can't remember the title.
Yeah,
but
you got it.
Yeah, but if he would have been an Indiana Jones first, that would have been great. He's a legacy character who can carry on the action scenes, who has humor, who would have made sense. Don't break up Indy and his wife just as you brought them back together and gave them the happy ending, just so you can sew them back together, slap it together at the end. It's so lazily pasted on there. The girl is annoying. She literally tried to get Indy killed, and he's still trying to save her. I'm sorry. He was in love with the German in Last Crusade before he knew she was trying to get. But once she tried to kill him,
he did try to save her too.
Well, I mean, yeah, at the end, I guess, for the thing, but he wasn't teaming up with her and he wasn't trusting her.
That was more of a attractiveness where he wasn't really attracted to the girl. And
I don't know. Either way, I just didn't. The girl, she was not good in it. I didn't like the Indy had to be broken up. The wife could have been on an adventure with him. It could have been what I would have wanted was him to have a nice married life, but he's bored. He misses the old days, but he knows he's too old. And maybe he's looking back at some of his past adventures and his dad thinking, I'm too old now for this stuff. And then Short Round comes with this, we can keep the Dial of Destiny. Like he has Dial of Destiny. So Andy's like another adventure and it's Short Round. Well, then his wife says, okay, but I'm coming with. And this is something to kind of, and I don't mind them killing off Mutt. Maybe they're both mourning that loss and they just don't know how to deal with each other, but they're still together. Well, they go on this adventure and then they reignite the whole reason why they came together, and they're still a family even without Mutt, and maybe even adopt Short Round, at the end, and he kind of replaces that hole that's missing in their heart. I think that was the key. Bring I can't remember her name.
Marion.
In the movie. Bring Marion into that adventure, because originally the actress said she was part of the original script and doesn't know what happened. They wrote her out, but keep her in. It's okay. You kill Mutt. Mutt goes to the war, dies. I'm fine with that, But then Short Round comes. He kind of reignites this sense of adventure in him and longing. She comes along, and they kind of get over the loss of Mutt finally. And maybe Short Round, has always looked to Indy as a father. Was kind of hurt when Indy kind of left him in college and never came back. Maybe do like a flashback. That's your CGI flashback. Indy leaves him at school and he goes away and he tries real hard, but he never gets to go on Indy's adventures anymore. He's kind of feeling left out. He's always looked up to Indy. But the thing is, though, that would have been a much better story.
I have a interesting theory. The whole what if the whole part about him saying that Marion left him, she actually just went to get groceries? Because she shows up at the end with groceries. Like, what if she just left for the day and he was like bored? I don't know. I'm just making fun of it so I can maybe get a little.
I mean, like I said, Spider-Man 3, if they would have had Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland sitting in Doctor Strange's kitchen drinking coffee and just talking the rest of the movie, I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd have loved that movie just as much. They had a great dynamic.
Or maybe like throughout episode, like the fifth Indy, he's actually just losing his mind, and he thinks she left me because of Mutt dying, and like, you know, they get back together, and she's just like, no, Indy, I didn't leave you. I had to go get groceries, and he's just losing his mind, and then he's, you know, 90 years old or whatever.
Senile. That'll be the next movie if they make
That'll
it.
be in the novelization if they get Alan Foster to write it.
Oh, geez.
No, Indy.
He'd be great at that.
No, I didn't leave you. Came back, you're gone.
Yeah. Don't like Aliens, Indiana Jones, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Thank you. Let's see. I haven't watched. I know nothing about Andor.
So there was a attempted.
Well, I heard about that, but they're saying the last episode that came out here.
Oh, are they? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that.
But then on the more civilized age, I reminded everyone about Shaz of the Empire and Prince Caesar. A little bit more graphic there.
A little bit.
What if old MD stumbled on the Fountain of Youth? I mean, yeah, I mean they could have done that too, but by the way, the CGI for Indiana Jones looked like a video game, and I watched these back to back to back, and it looked like you could tell Indy's voice was old Indy. They couldn't even CGI his voice to make it sound younger. Yeah.
I think so from what I've heard, that movie was made because it was in Harrison Ford's contract for returning to Star Wars.
Yes.
He wanted to. And they just
I said this decades ago when they got him to sign on to episode 7. I said, okay, spoilers. When they announced that Han Solo's come back, I said he's going to die in the movie because Harrison Ford wants to play Indy again. And so he made Lucasfilm promise to do another Indy film. I knew that from the very beginning. Everyone's like, oh, you called it. Han Solo died. Yeah. I also called the ending to 9 too. But the thing is, though, that's because I'd read Legacy of the Force.
Yeah.
Wasn't that I was some I could see it back. That's there.
He came back for episode 9 for a brief little vision type thing. And I wonder if that's where he was like, he didn't even shave for it. Like it was rough.
Oh, but he came back for 9 as a ghost?
So since Carrie Fisher passed, it was supposed to be the scene, I think, with him or with her and her son, him like being redeemed or whatever. But they had Harrison Ford playing that. So Leia uses the Force to have a vision of Han Solo talking to the son. It's weird. Doesn't really make sense. He phoned it in. He was like, "Hey kid, it's okay." Because his son kills him in the episode 7. And so he's like dealing with the guilt. And then he's like, "Oh, I have my father's forgiveness." And then he doesn't say another thing throughout the rest of the movie and then dies. That's how the son goes out. The Jason Solo. Yeah. It was rushed. I mean, they all were, but it's crazy though that Disney would spend, I don't know how much it costs, for them to pay Harrison Ford and then to make and lose money on Indiana Jones, the 5th one, just to have him in those movies. I don't know.
Right. I just tried to send a invite to someone here. I actually sent an invite to someone else. I doubt they'll show up, but I really didn't mean to do it. I sent Justin an invite, but somehow I have Star Wars Theories email, so he got an invite too. I was trying to do Star Wars Marvel Purist.
Oh, get them both on.
Yeah, now it looks like a setup. I typed in and hit send. I was like, wait, that wasn't it. The whole thing is glitch. My whole computer's glitching. So there we go. That'll be fun if they both show up. I've never talked to this theory guy. Justin has. I don't really watch the channel that much because he does a lot of new canon stuff.
Yeah, I don't. I watched some stuff. Like he was covering Andor, and then he stopped. And then I watched The Acolyte, and that ruined my faith in Star Wars, Disney Star Wars. I mean, it completely, like, it was the last grain of dirt on the grave. You know?
A few years ago, my buddy Bruce, he decided he was going to. This is back before we knew the internet was going to be pissed at each other, because when they got rid of the old canon, I said, "I think I'm out." He looked at me, he went, "Really?" I said, "Yeah. I mean, I think I'm done." I said, "If it doesn't have the expanded universe, I'm not interested." He went, "Oh, well, I'm going to try it." I went, "Yeah, you go ahead." And we're acting all normal because I didn't know that if it wasn't for the internet reminded me that we had to hate each other because we were on different sides later on. Mm-hmm. But eventually he gave up on new Star Wars, and I can't remember what book it was, but he just said, "This is garbage. I'm done. I can't eat any more garbage anymore." So I think it was the books that finally get him. And I don't know if I know he stopped watching the TV shows a long time ago. He may watch Andor because I think he enjoyed Andor. So he may watch Andor, but he has not watched, and he watched a little bit Mandalorian, but thought it just got crappy in the last season, or Boba Fett. I can't remember. They just didn't appeal as much. So I think he's kind of just fizzled out of the whole thing.
Yeah. So I was all about, I mean, it was sad that the EU got discontinued, but I wasn't like, I think I read up to, like, I read the New Republic stuff and then the Old Republic stuff. So that's kind of what my knowledge of it was. And then they rebooted. And so I followed that for a while. And then the books just weren't as, like they didn't really do anything with them. Unlike the EU where it was like, oh, hey, Chewbacca died. Oh, hey, Luke's married. Here are the kids, here's this. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch the shows, watch the movies. And then The Last Jedi came out, and then I was just like, ugh. And then I watched like The Mandalorian. I liked some of that. I liked some of the shows. Some of them I didn't. Dave Filoni, I stayed away from for a while, and then I kind of started watching his stuff again. It's funny. The stuff that he's not that involved with is like pretty good, but when he's got his whole hand in the project, it's just a complete mess. Because he shifted away from the cartoons and went more for like the Ahsoka show and stuff, which I didn't watch. I'm just like, I'll wait for that. But
I love it. That's my answer. Go ahead.
But I kind of just went full force into the EU, and I kind of have this rule: if I've read the whole thing of the media or watched it all, then I will visit the canon version of it. So like I read all of the EU comics, and so I'll just maybe read some of the recommended good ones, or maybe even ones that Joe has on his website that could tie into the EU. Yeah. And so I'm not done with the novels yet, so I haven't gone back to it.
I got a question for you in the chat, but first, this guy tried reading the Heir of the Empire books with Luke on the cover. Nah, was bad, so I took it back. Wow. I enjoyed those books, Gummy, but
I think he's talking about the new canon.
Oh, is that new canon? Oh, Heir to the Jedi. Never mind.
That's the book that was supposed to be Legends.
Oh, yeah.
But they changed it.
Hey, sir.
Hello.
Make it rain. What's going on?
You know what? I am so terrible. You even sent me an email a while back. Goodness
It's all good.
gracious. I am
It's all
so
good.
sorry. I am
No,
so
you got the
sorry.
important ones. I was sending you the audios on the Hungarian
Yes.
on
So,
books.
okay, we're going to talk about all this. First off, hi Tim, how's it going? The Heir of the Jedi. I was so off there. Hold on, I'll get to his question in a minute. Where did you find? So after More Civilized Age, you had sent me links to audiobooks that these have been out for a while.
Scott Adams fan, I think, in my comments section on one of my videos or live streams told me about them. And I remember hearing you talking about them. I think Tim had told me about them. So I fucking sent them to you in an email, and then I sent them off. I just sent them to Tim right now. I actually forgot. I thought I had sent them to him. I didn't. So yeah, I kind of just been sending them out to everybody when I noticed that they were available.
Wow. That is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that was really neat to see some audio
3.
versions of it.
I think he just released number 4. I think 4.
Oh, he did? Okay.
There's 4 of them. I thought it was a trilogy, but apparently it's 4 books. So
what book are you talking about?
The Hungarian Han Solo books.
Oh, yeah.
English. So there's a YouTube site that translated them all AI, like fully unabridged.
Oh, really? What is that called?
Patrick Predator. I think that's what it's called. No space, just all one word.
Patrick Predator. All right.
If you go to Matt, I think he dropped it in your comment section too, Matt. If you go to Matt's review, like from 5 days ago, there's a comment from like 3 or 4 days ago at the bottom that the dude dropped in there that has the link.
Okay.
So, I can't, Andrus. I'm blackballed, man. I was too mean to Mrs. Dash and stupid ass Wave, so I'm not getting on there, bro. Sorry to let everyone's hopes down. I tried to play it cool, but you know, I have fun on my channel, man. I'm not a corporate fucking
Yeah, well, not that he's going to show up. I was trying to look at Star Wars Marvel Purist, and Star Wars Theories emails popped up, and I sent him an invite too before you. Like, wait, that wasn't Justin. Went back to get yours, so I doubt he'll show, but either because he only goes on your channel. Brady, did you read Mercy Kill, Millennium Falcon, or Jaden Core Duology, Crucible, or Fate of the Jedi yet?
So I'm not there yet. I'm at Edge of Victory. I think that's book 1. When Yavin 4 gets attacked.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, that's.
So wait, have you been doing the EU in order, or you just started post Return of the Jedi in order?
So it's kind of been a mess. But how I got into the EU was I read Plagueis, the Bane books, Revan, then I jumped to the Thrawn trilogy, and then I skipped around whatever was available on YouTube. Yeah. And then it was all like unabridged. No, sorry, abridged.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so I got to New Jedi Order, and they only had the abridged versions, and I read a few of those, and then I was like, you know what? I'm doing a disservice. I gotta go and read the actual ones, and then people started releasing the unabridged.
Yeah,
so I've been going through.
Hidden Gems has all of them. I was using a different one, but then they ran out of books. They weren't pumping them out fast enough.
There was yeah. So
there's also one called StarAudiobook.net. It's basically bootleg Audible. So anything that you know is on Audible that's unabridged, you can go do that for free. Now the only thing, it doesn't have like bookmark stuff like Audible does, right? Bootleg, but it has them in different sections, like 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So you could be like, hey, I'm on bar 3, or I'll screenshot it on my phone, whatever. There's ways to do it. It can be innovative. But yeah, I always tell people about that, because obviously if you can get the full production value when you're doing an audiobook, do it that way. And then, if not, then I just try to kind of bounce people around to the different, channels that are doing the unabridged AI stuff.
Mm-hmm. So with this gotcha question real quick, I'm going to say Republic Commando books because I'll never watch Andor. So there you go.
I haven't finished the Commando books yet.
We've changed your name to Fine Alliance because you're just fine on everything. But have you read Tarkin? Do you read New Canon?
I read it when it came out.
How dare you?
Well, it was almost.
Yeah, you know what? The EU haters and the Disney lovers can't talk shit to me. I've read all the EU author. Well, no, except for the Thrawn shit. I've read all the EU author Disney canon.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
What do you think of those?
I think they all fucking suck.
Okay. Tarkin, I enjoyed Tarkin. There might have been.
I mean, I like James Luceno. It's probably my favorite author, but yeah, that's definitely not his best work. I would actually say the Catalyst one, even though I don't like it, it's got a lot of TCW shit in it. That's probably better than Tarkin.
I mean, a lot of the EU has TCW crap in it, like, and it's
it's a
headache, but. Yeah,
like Plagueis, right? Yeah, you got 4 pages of the Dathomir. You can tell it's shoehorn though. Like I've read that book enough times to know. And Palpatine just liked to go to like planets like randomly, right? Like, oh yeah, sure. You can tell like Luceno was told like, here's a note, you have to add this in here, and he just kind of skimmed over it, right? Like, I mean, it's still written eloquently and everything, but you could tell it wasn't like all the other details he was getting into with everything else. Tim. What's up, Soul?
Yeah. Good to have Tim. Oh, Soul Assassin. Hey, Soul.
So when did you start reading the EU?
So I kind of grew up with it, I would say. I kind of. So my mom read to me as a kid the Junior Jedi Knights.
Hell yeah, dude. Good mom.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah,
I absolutely. I mean, like I haven't read those books to my kids yet. That they're not. How old were you, first off?
I would have had to have been 5 because that's whenever they showed me Star Wars. Because, well, I might have been 5 or 6 because I think I was just turning 7 and I saw Revenge of the Sith in the theaters, and so it was around that time. I might have been 7. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But they were at our library. They were also they had characters that my mom knew from the movies, so there weren't confusing words because she didn't read the EU except for those stories. I begged her once to read me. I think it was A New Rebellion. And she started reading it, and she's like, I have no idea what's going on. And now I understand why, because it's, like, 10 books into the New Republic era? Like, but she read me that. I had the abridged version of Truce at Bakura. And then that kind of was it until my grandparents got me Darth Plagueis. And so I then read it on audiobook, which I struggled with reading a lot. And so audiobooks were just so helpful. Now I'm a lot better, and I thank Star Wars for that. But my grandparents would always encourage me to read by getting me books and things like that. So like they got me the Coruscant Nights trilogy, the hardcover, because they had Sci-Fi Book Club membership. And then, yeah, I dived in.
An awesome family, man. I'd like to meet your family. You got grandparents buying you Darth Plagueis, and your mom reading Star Wars books to you as a kid, dude. That's awesome, man. I think
my grandpa made models too, and it might have been that same year he made me the Venator Star Destroyer model, and then also gave me Darth Plagueis. Or it might have been 1 year after another. And when was Plagueis released? 2012. So yeah, I was about 14 whenever I got Plagueis.
Plagueis was supposed to come out before Rule of Two, right? But they did so well with Path of Destruction that they sidelined it and red lighted the sequel.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad because they knew they were. I know you said it was shoehorned in a little bit, some of the Darth Maul stuff, but I'm glad that they were able to smooth it out a little bit with some retcons and even change some of the story, because if it came out back then, it would be contradicted even more, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, like if he was Ithorian and all that. Well, they
Yeah.
did a good job interweaving everything in that book, right? Like
Yeah.
Cloak of Deception, Shadowhunter. It's just awesome, man. And episodes 1 and 2, right? Really, because it's pretty much the concept of the formation of the clone army and everything. Like,
Made me want to rewatch Phantom Menace. Like,
yeah. Well, a lot of people say, well, it's kind of lore heavy. It's probably not a good book, but really, man, like I've seen some dude that did a review on it. I always forget his name, dude. He did like a really long deep dive, but he said even if somebody isn't even a Star Wars fan, you could probably read the Plagueis book solo and still like love it, even if you weren't a Star Wars fan or didn't know the universe, because it's written really well. But then when you go back and reread, like that's a book that's like mandatory reread, I think, right? Because I've read it like maybe 10 times now, and I swear to God, I find something new every time I reread it that I didn't realize like the time before. It's awesome.
That is awesome when you go back through something like that and you're like, oh, I didn't notice that. I had a lot of those moments during my reread.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, that's what I've been noticing with NJO. So I remember I thought in my head that NJO was more disjointed than Legacy of the Force, right? Because I feel like Legacy of the Force is really smooth. Even Karen Traviss, right? Her books, I feel like they blend very well with Denning and Olsen, right? And I could have sworn that NJO didn't blend like that, but I'm on Edge of Victory 2 right now, and I haven't found any like jarring. I think it's the Sean Williams books at the end, The Force Heretic.
Oh yeah,
I think maybe that's why. I don't know. I know those are towards the end. I remember there's a few books I didn't like. I know I hate Fatal Alliance, so I think that could be it. We'll see when I'm done rereading the whole thing, but
Fatal Alliance, that's the Old Republic book?
That's the Old Republic one where it has a really great premise, right? It's like a Jedi, a Mandalorian, a Sith, and they're trying to rob the Hutts or something in the beginning, and then it like goes off into techno beasts and like just weird shit, and it just like falls off a cliff, right? I mean, at least that's the way I remember that. I never went and reread that thing. That'll be the last thing I probably reread, that and Dawn of the Jedi.
I don't remember it. I read that because I did the, I read Plagueis and I went, ooh, Darth Bane. I know about that from Plagueis. And so I did Darth Bane, and then I saw, oh, Revan. Okay, read Revan. I remember that a little bit, but Fatal Alliance I read after that, and I was like, what is this? But
what about you? Like Red Harvest?
I've read almost all of the Old Republic novels. I enjoyed Red Harvest.
I did too. I'm a horror guy, so I like it. Now, I obviously like structurally, I'd say it's probably not as good as Death Troopers, but the Han and Chewie shoehorn and Death Troopers is stupid, man. It totally throws the fucking story and what's going on off. Like, hey, here's Chewie and Han.
I get it, but for me, it's more of this is another fine mess we've gotten ourselves into. It didn't bother me as much. I understand it kind of came out of the blue for people. I thought, what did you think of Darth Maul Lockdown?
Oh, that's 9 out of 10, baby.
I thought it was excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah. Or maybe,
so good.
Yeah, maybe 8.5. Shadowhunter, I think, is better. Even though
Shadowhunter's good too.
Even though it's my kind of book, Lockdown, right? I say it's like Star Wars Bloodsport, right? You got Maul ripping out fucking Wampa hearts, and you got him taking on Yuuzhan Vongs and shit like that. But like, I feel like Shadowhunter is more like integral into like the greater scheme of things, right? Like in Star Wars, like in the prequel era.
Did they ever fix
a side quest on Lockdown?
Did they ever retcon the contradiction in Lockdown with Plagueis?
What's the contradiction with Plagueis?
So it wasn't the whole premise. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I heard someone say there was inconsistency there. Wasn't the premise about Maul? Like his mission was to get something to like for the setup of some sort of like explosion thing that happened with
Yeah, he
like
gets it's the information of the guy who makes the bomb, and the bomb is they detonate the bomb on Iriadu in Cloak of Deception.
Okay.
I
So
believe that's my.
I don't remember there being any contradiction.
Yeah, I
I
don't think there's
thought they had it. I don't know. I'll have to read it.
I think Plagueis. I can't remember if he stops in or if he's on a hollow projection.
Yeah, because he appears in it from what I've heard.
Yeah, but I think he's dealing with the people that are running the prison facility and shit, right? But
when does he get his?
contradiction.
When does he get damage? Like, you know, where he has to wear his voice thing. I can't remember it.
I mean, that's.
Was it that explosion or was it something else?
No.
Attack,
That's not an explosion.
Right?
That's a blade from a Maladian assassin that chops.
Right. I got you. I'll have to find it and then ask you.
Yeah, no, because it's technology for like a massive bomb that I'm pretty sure they use it in Cloak of Deception. Because there's Cloak of Deception's all about pirating and alienating the Trade Federation and all that stuff, while simultaneously like sabotaging Senator Valorum, while also Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are like on this goose chase, and they end up going to Iriadu, and then there's a dude, and that's where you get like Tarkin and some of them. Can't remember some of those parts. It's been about 7 years, I think, since I read that book, but it's a good one, man. I like it.
Now, there's something that, and I think Scott Johnson told us, Brady, a few days ago about there being more Legends cards coming out for that card game he loves so much. But they're putting their Legends characters, so they're putting the Legends banner on the cards so as not to be confused with the canon character. It's a card game. And I think the people playing Star Wars be like, hey, who's this? I don't know I think they know. Yeah. And then the thing is, if they didn't, they just look at them and go, oh, this is a Legends person. But they're having to put the Legends banner over them. I just think they should be super powered too. Like if you automatically play one, all the other person's new canon characters look sad.
I think you said in the chat, they'll be banned at certain tournaments because they're too powerful.
being too powerful. Yeah. But I didn't. That was a really weird announcement they made. Like, hey, we're bringing out new cards, but hey, we're going to put the Legends banner on them because they're not canon people. What does it matter with you guys anymore? And they want to make new characters. So they probably had to do this according to Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm doesn't want anything new coming out, I guess, for Legends fans. They don't want to give them any wins here. So, don't make it official or whatnot. Don't try to bring these characters into canon by putting them into a card game and not putting the Legends banner on them. That whole thing just made no sense to me.
I ranted to somebody about this. It was probably Scott. But he told me that in some of the board games and card games, they will not have Palpatine as a boss in them because they don't want to depict his power level in that certain way. But then in Fortnite, they've got him in there, they've got everybody in there, and that's of course the more mainstream gaming thing is Fortnite. Shoot, you even have Darth Jar Jar in there. And
that's fun. I'm sure everyone asked for that.
I don't know, but
oh man, you got another topic I want to talk about. So Jar Jar Binks, who played by Ahmad Best. Okay, he won't say, hey man, I was the one that suffered the worst. I was back before the internet. Dude, you had it best. You had it back before the internet was really up and going. So yeah, people hated on you, but you didn't have to hear it. You could have shut it down. You could ignore it. It wasn't everywhere on social media. It wasn't on every app and everything. Not everyone was on YouTube. Not everyone was doing this. I mean, I understand that he had it bad, and Jake Gyllenhaal and all those people had to hear the critics. It was mainly the critics who.
Yeah, it was a critic. I was gonna say I wasn't really the fans, man.
Yeah.
I always hear this myth, and it's like I used to go to comic book shops and all that. I don't remember everyone ripping on the prequels like everyone says. And I was in like Southern California back then. I didn't hear any problems with that shit. Like, I don't know. I know people in
This
Northern
was-
California they didn't either.
But they heard the critics, but you could ignore them. You could have easily ignored them.
Yeah.
Which
That's the thing I don't get.
I guess, I mean, you know, some people take critics' opinions to heart a lot. And
But he was talking about like the fans didn't appreciate him for the longest. It was down on him and everything. And maybe he went to some Comic Cons back in the day, and not many people went to his booth and got an autograph as they would some of the other prequel characters. But the thing is, though, you had it so easy, and everyone's like, "Oh, his redemption now because he's getting some love because he's a Jedi in the new canon or something." I was like, dude, you wish these. There's so many other people who've had it way worse than you who don't have this. You like I said, the critics hate him. Sorry, you were made for kids. You really didn't see it. You really didn't see it. You really thought this character's coming. You were drinking George's Kool-Aid that deep that you thought. And I mean, there were kids that loved Jar Jar. There were kids that loved Jar Jar. But remember, a lot of people were adults, and they're going to hate him, just like the Ewoks were hated.
Right.
Just like the Ewoks were hated.
And I think some of the stuff, like them calling him a racist stereotype or something like that, because there was a lot of that I heard with like the Phantom Menace, and he's like, "That's just my voice," and like you can hear Jar Jar when he talks. Like, well, I don't know why people would say that, but
that never came out till like way later when that was popular to say.
Which I get. I get like
they talk about Watto now. Watto. The problem with Watto. The problem with Watto is you. You know, Watto's just Watto. He's just playing a character. Sure. Oh, but I think it portrays people in a negative light. Yeah, Troydarians in a negative light.
People.
So there you go. Hello, Everest Productions.
Everest is doing great work. But have you seen his Plagueis fan films?
Oh, okay, that's him. Okay, yes.
Oh, yeah. You
very talented. Very talented.
Very
I have.
He even does his behind the scenes stuff, showing how he's making it and all that. It's great.
Yes. Very good stuff.
Son
Hard to do.
Son of Luke says we need more.
Oh, you remember
EU skins in Fortnite. Do we want to really see Revan hit the gritty? Like
no. Jarrett Thatcher, you got people laughing during Yoda's bouncing. I had my theater erupted. People were loving Yoda when he pulled out the lightsaber and started fighting.
Oh yeah, there were obviously moments. You always like to see the Darth Maul fight. You love seeing the Yoda fight, and then Episode 3, you got to see Obi-Wan and Anakin go at it.
I think Yoda.
They brought the lightsaber battles. There's no doubt about that.
Yoda Palpatine's underrated. I love him throwing all his Senate pods.
That was great too. Right. Yeah, I agree. So there's a lot of great fights in there.
The symbolism in those fights were good.
Nothing like Throne Room, Return of the Jedi. I always want to call it Revenge of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, the ending scene. That's the whole Throne Room scene is just the shit, right?
It's great, but that's also John Williams' music score. It's just
Jedi's Fury, super underrated. Yeah,
makes a lot there. So, you are also reading the comic books, Brady. You said
I've read all. Oh wait, of
Star Wars.
Yeah, well, I've read all of the EU comics.
Oh, how did you read them?
Wow, that's good.
Let's see. Okay, so I went to my local comic shop. I wanted to read the new canon comics, but they were like $5. But there was this bin over here in the corner. There was a bunch of bins. And they said 25 to 50 cents. And I was like, what's over here? And like I talked to the guy, I was like, I like Star Wars. And he goes, hey, yeah, we got the new ones over here. And then we've got some in these 50-cent bins over here. And so I dig through Tales of the Jedi, all that. I got the majority of my single issues are, and I think I have maybe 100 or probably close to 200 that I got for like a quarter, 2 quarters each.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Star Wars comics in my comic shop are like $20-$30 a pop, easy.
this was 2017. Yes, it was. Right before The Last Jedi came out, because I would say after The Last Jedi is when the EU started peaking more, because people were like, "Oh, I don't like this. I want to read this." And the owner of the shop, I've gone in there and I've asked him, "You got any of that old Star Wars?" And he goes, "Nope, you bought me out. I should have charged you $10 a book for that. I should have held on to those." Because they're just going up, and I think whenever he gets one, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can get rid of that for $20," and I'm like, oh, goodness. But it was just a mixed match of things there. Dark Empire, Tales of the Jedi, and the Kyle Katarn, Dark Forces. They have the audio versions on YouTube with the comic panels on them. And that's kind of how I got into there. And then I was able to kind of piece together. And then I even printed off all of the titles from Wikipedia in chronological order for collecting. And then I just kind of jumped around for that.
Wow, that's a really good comic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I don't have something like that. I did have one for when I was trying to collect all of the Wizards of the Coast. Someone did have most, not all, but most of the Wizards of the Coast stuff. Mm-hmm. And he gave it to me for half of the retail price on it. Ooh. And these books online were already going for like $60 each or $40, way more than the cover price. And I thought, man, I'm going to have to pay cover price. No, I thought at first I went, well, I'm getting these for a good deal, but dude, I'm spending like $300 right now. He goes, okay, we'll do about 150 or something like that. I was like, he gave me half off because he just didn't know. I was like, oh my gosh. And so all but like one or two. No, I think I got everything but one for like just a couple of $100 of the Wizard of the Coast collection. And the only one I didn't have was that man, I know the cover. If I go get it, it's like something to do with starfighters on it, and that one cost $75. And I found it for cover price in a town. We were just going through, antique stores and stuff like that. And sometimes just people just throw their books on the shelf, and he had that particular one, and I couldn't find a price. How much is this? He said, "Oh, what's the cover? $30." I was like, done. And so got my Wizards of the Coast collection, West End Game stuff for uber cheap.
Nice. Someone was selling the Clone Wars digests for he sold it to me in a bulk. I already owned a good amount of them, but so like the Sith Lords or Sith Hunters, the Darth Maul and Savage Opress story, and then the what's the one with the Mandalorians, the Clone Wars Death Watch Mandalorians, when they go to that temple that has the guy from KOTOR in it. Those ones go for like hundreds. And I think I ended up getting each digest issue for like $3.
Wow, really good deal.
Yeah.
Jess, have you ever gotten a good deal when doing any hunting?
I basically freaking read EU books and I read Marvel comics. So my cousin had a bunch of Star Wars comics, so we used to share comics and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, that's my weak spot. That's why I've been covering comics on my channel, right? Because it's like, I can learn the lore and share with everybody else. So that's what I've been doing to try to fill in that blank. I also haven't read YJK, and now Alora's going to start doing member streams. We just did she just got done with the Dark Forces novella trilogy, which I've already read.
Yes, she did.
But she's going to be doing YJK next. So I'm like, perfect. Now I don't even have to worry about going through those audiobooks. I can keep rereading NJO and then prepping for streams on MJO and all that stuff. So that'll be good stuff.
Yeah, Laura's been doing some good deep dives lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out OG Star Wars if anyone here on the watching hasn't already. Another good channel there. But yeah, so those are probably the best deals I got because everything else I got when it came out. It was like, oh my gosh, you have that? Yeah, I got it when it came out though. It wasn't. I would never have paid, however much it's going for now. Only would have paid that from back in the day. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of EU, especially hard, because I'm upgrading all my stuff to hardcover that I can. It's getting a lot more expensive. The prices are definitely going up because higher demand and no more prints. So
it's kind of crazy because the moment Disney announced it was not going to be canon, I remember just going berserk and going all through my list of I had this long list, the children's books, the baby books, the old, the short stories from the strategy guides and stuff like that. I had a short list of all that stuff, and I was like, I'll get it someday because it was some for like a penny or something. I bought a lot of that stuff for like 1 cent, and I was like, I'll collect it later. But when they announced it non-canon, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it all now. And what was it? So they announced it 2013. No, it was whenever it was 2014 or whatever. Okay, 2014. And so that next year or that year, I bought so much EU, but it was like the Ewok kid books, the baby books, or whatever. And the Queen's Amulet. I'd always knew about that story, but I never got it. I didn't want to get it right now. I said it only costs a penny or $1 on eBay or whatnot. And so then I started just buying all of that stuff because I said, I don't know if this is going to start being collector's items. And it did. Yeah, not all of it, but a lot of it.
They're not going to reprint them. Like at least with Legends, even though I don't want to buy anything with a Legend banner or Essential Legends, they're there, right? So they're never going to go reprint Junior Jedi Knights or Young Jedi Knights, right? Like Disney has no. Whoa,
dude, you have it. Is that a hippo?
Yeah, it's a hippo.
That is. That I like you. I like you even more now. That's awesome.
It is one of the most deadliest mammals.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
I haven't been on the stream in a while, so.
Oh yeah, I haven't had you on the stream in for never. How have you been?
I've been good. Just I got over a sickness lately, so I've been thinking of video ideas and whatnot. So.
There you go. Yeah, the work that goes into that. I've more than once been sent links to your videos, and very impressive. But I also go the whole time watching. I said, this must have took months, unless you have a lot of free time. Because that is pretty wild, man. What you do.
Thank you. I mean, the one I did today took a month.
Yeah,
I've never really animated before, so it's I'm not really much of an animator, but I'm trying to hone my skills. So
yeah, you get better each time you do it. I do. Yeah, because I remember Marcel on his channel used to do some great audio books of that short fiction, Star Wars short fiction. And I told him this after listening to a few. I was like, they get better. He went, yeah, well, I'm kind of learning from my mistakes. I went, yeah, but that's everyone. I said, yours continually, the quality. He doesn't do them anymore right now. I don't think he has the time, but the ones he was doing it just got better. Did you ever listen to any of those, Brady? He would do little short stories or something like that. Do a little audio version of it.
Who was it again?
What is Marcel's channel? Goodness gracious. Dark Revencus. Is it Revencus?
That's really cool. I did. I've done a couple audio dramas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it was Papa's responding to my comment there. Okay, so how did you get into the expanded universe, Mr. Everest?
Well, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff I wasn't like I didn't hate the Disney stuff until like maybe the last 3 years. I thought like let's give I listen, I've grown up with the EU and you know, before they called it Legends. It was like, I grown up with the EU, you know, I played a lot of Jedi Academy growing up. It kind of like, you know, the best way to like the feeling of the EU, and I would say this is like John Williams. You ever played the game Star Wars Galaxies, right?
Video
The
games is
feeling
my
that
one weak
that
spot, but
era
I
of
know
Star
what
Wars
Galaxy
gives
is.
me is when you go into the menu and you're creating your character. Yeah, Galaxies. Well, back then in the menu, you would hear the music from Empire Strikes Back, and it had this like feeling to it. Like, I don't have that feeling anymore since I feel like Star Wars has become just commercialized, and you know it's all about money. And I think there's not a lot of heart.
I think there's a delay in our audio too.
Is there a? Am I good?
No, you're good. I can hear you.
Is it me? Because there's audio.
Okay. I know you guys.
It might be
I think you cut out for a second earlier, Everest, but you're good now.
I think there's an audio delay.
I'm not on the best connection right now. Oh, give me a sec. Let me try something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Brady. Hold on. Did you drop
No,
out?
you're good. Yeah. I don't know. Mine was messing up. I thought it was me, so I refreshed it.
I know it ain't me.
There we go.
I saw Matt nodding, and no one was talking, and I was just like, "Am I? What's going on?"
Okay, let me remove myself then, because now it may be me. Hold on.
My connection's fine now.
All right, we can say anything. Let's get him canceled.
The purist is taking over. So, Everest, is that Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, that's your inspiration for using that engine then for your fan films?
Yeah, well, I've been in that community for years, since 09, maybe longer, 07. I know a lot of people involved, and I'm hearing noise. You guys hear that?
Brady, I think it's your headset.
Let me, I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
But now you can hear me in live time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I fixed my connection.
Oh, okay. All right. We've all reset. Go ahead.
No, when it came to Disney, I'll give you history. I was excited when they bought, I thought Disney was on top of the world years ago with, Marvel. They were doing pretty banger business, and, Marvel was entertaining every year. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, I didn't know that how they would treat Star Wars, how it would become today. I just think, as I said, it's all commercialized. There's not a lot. A lot of people don't even even some stuff that I know it has thought to it. Like, I think Andor, there's a lot of thought in that show. I know it's not made for, it doesn't have, I know a lot of people dunk on it, but it's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, I don't know what they are doing. And when they do try to do something, it's just more like pandering to people who grew up with this stuff. And that's not the way to do it. You can't just, you can't just play it safe. And that's why I keep hearkening back to the EU, because these stories are more interesting. There's more depth to it. And I would say a lot of that is to the authors who wrote them.
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. It's almost like I want you to sing a musical now, Brady. You sound so good.
Oh.
Okay, cool. But no, I know what you mean, and I've heard a lot of people, and just like everyone, it's fine. There's a lot of hype for it. I was the odd man out. I used to have people come on my channel all the time and go, "Oh, you liar! I know you're going to watch the prequels. I mean, the sequels when they come out." I was like, "Actually, I'm not. You think I am, but I'm not. I'm not just a whiny fanboy." And I said, "I don't mind if you want to watch them. I'm just not." And I just knew the moment they said it's 9 canon. Well, the moment Disney bought Lucasfilm, I knew it was done. Everyone has seen that video I made the day it happened. I made a video. Went, the EU's gone. I said that. I was like, I know it's gone. They're not going to keep it. And so, then that's because it had hit me that all the news hit me. I was like, and if that happens, and I started thinking, I was like, am I not a Star Wars fan? I mean, really, at that moment, you can see that video that I did, and I was just thinking, am I not a Star Wars fan? Like, am I going to quit? Star Wars was such a big point in my life because as a kid, it was the movies, of course, like everyone else, the movies, cartoons, the toys. Every time I played as Luke Skywalker in real life, with all my friends and everything. And now the books were the one that was keeping my fandom and my love alive, and all the connections, the books, the comics, the expanded universe. I really loved it. And I was like, if they get rid of that, I think I'm done. I was like, and it just kind of dawned when I said that on that video. That was me thinking through it right then and there, because I just turned on the video camera and just made the video real quick just to capture my thoughts. I'd gotten home from work when I found it. They said, Lucasfilm, George told Lucasfilm Disney. I said, that is fake news. That is such fake news. You guys are idiots. He probably is doing a partnership with them. Like, there's no way that would happen. And when it happened, I was stunned. I was in a meeting all day at work. And when I got out of work, I was driving home going, this can't be true. And of course, went online and went, what? And then sat down and did the video right. I think I'm still in my work clothes, and did the video right then and there. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And the first time I remember when, because I remember I was going to stop because the Star Wars Insider was doing part 1. And I said, okay, part 2 came out, and it was a Blade Squadron, and it was officially canon. But since part 1 was Legends now, or what we know as old canon, I went ahead and read part 2. It's not that good of a story either way. But I said, well, since part 1 was in Legends, I'll read this one. Okay, but then I did. I questioned myself. I said, wait a minute, is that me cheating? Am I going to get into the new canon? And then the next Insider came with a brand new story. Yes, it was probably written for Legends, but now it's new canon. And I looked at it. It came in the mail. I was so excited to get my Star Wars Insider to read my short story. That's the only reason I bought it. And I went, nope. And I chucked it. This is before episode 7 was even made. I chucked the magazine. I canceled my subscription. The new book came out based off the, what was the TV show that came out
Rebels.
first? Rebels. Thank
Rebels.
you. The new book came out.
New Dawn.
And
Yeah.
I was always not only one of the first people to get that book, but I was reading it the day I got it. That's how I was with Star Wars books. That was top priority for me. And when it came out, I didn't care. I went, oh. So I was thinking, because I'm testing myself, said, I can throw away magazine short stories because I can always pick the magazine up later on if I wanted to. I said, but will a book get me? Book didn't get me. And that's when I knew. I was like, I'm good. I'll never go see that movie. But I was even wondering, because I was like, it's such a big part of me. Can I really go cold turkey? Yes, I can. If they're dumping my story, that's really all I care about. And it was kind of wild because, you think, oh, no, I'm a Star Wars everything. But no, it's my loyalty came from the expanded universe. And if they were going to get rid of that, then they were going to lose me as a fan. And this is when everyone was still up excited about it. I'm sorry, Everest, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I'll give you like a quick TRODL how I feel up to the Disney point. When they announced it, I was excited. Again, I was in high school when they announced it, and I was like, oh boy. And The Force Awakens, I didn't hate that movie as much as some people. I understood they took the safe route, but I will say they released the first books before. And there was this book called The Aftermath Trilogy. It sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the author...
I read those.
Horrible writing. And then they had Jar Jar as a clown as Naboo. Was like, oh, it's another prequel jab. Yay. Well, it's like, I think that was their goal to just I think when Disney bought Lucasfilm, I think they really just wanted to wipe away the prequel, just wipe it under the. They didn't realize that the generation that I would say in this generation, the OT generation, they're dying off. No offense, but the OT, it's all about the prequel. It's all about the prequels now. That people just talk about Vader and Anakin. That's all it is now. So
first time on the stream, he says, "Matt, you people are dying off."
We are.
That's a ballsy statement. Welcome to the channel.
Here's what I think.
Shots fired.
Your old
Star Wars theory when I bring Everest Productions on here. They tell me I'm the old. Out with the old.
You're using the Dewey Decimal System like purists, aren't you? You're pushing 50. That purist guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
But
how old are you, Everest?
I'm 26.
Everest, do you want to talk about how ugly my kids are too?
Oh wait,
ugly. I look like an Ewok.
I think Disney thinks that they could just shit on the prequels and it would be easy because they believe the hype and the bullshit that the prequels aren't good. And I think simultaneously they've been systematic.
That's what they did.
It's obvious now that they've been systematically destroying all the lore surrounding and in between the original trilogy because they know that's the more, obviously you have a bigger fan base because you have the old fan base like us dying off, and then you have the newer fan base that still treasures those. And they thought they could just shun the prequels like they did in TFA or like you said in those books. But they
that
knew
era.
And they knew they were going to have to take a more
that whole era till the rise of Skankwalker. Like that whole era was just them like brushing off the EU. Or not the EU. I mean the prequels. They already brushed it off. and then they realized, oh wait, the people love the prequels. Oh, let's roll it back. Let's get Filoni involved.
Yes, Dave. Yes.
Well, do they really love the prequels, or did they just love Dave Filoni? That's the thing. I don't know if there's still a love for, even now. Do you think that no one was more surprised about Revenge of the Sith numbers than Disney was?
That's true.
So I don't think they still believe in that kind of stuff. And I know it frustrates them that a movie that's 20 years old is getting more attention than some of their new stuff coming out. And you're right about that. You're right. You're also right about the new generation. You're the ones that are having the kid. They're taking their kids to see it. My buddy Spencer, around the same age as you, young adult there. He went and saw it with his buddies who he had a picture of them all at like 10 or 12, and now they're late 20s, early 30s, whatnot, going to see it again, and that was really cool. They're kind of reliving it, but they also have younger kids. And so those younger kids are going to be loving what you love what your mom and dad love, and they remember the prequels fondly. So, my girl's just lucked out by having a decrepit dinosaur for a dad, and they're going to have to watch the original trilogy, which, to be honest, I haven't watched with them yet, Brady. But when you're saying 6 years old, your mom's reading Star Wars to you, then I need to get back on my game. I want to show them the movies and see if they're interested to, the books. Because I would do the same thing and start reading them those children's books first.
But, what's funny? My daughters disconnected sooner than I did. Because they
for the new stuff, really,
especially on the Marvel side, especially on the Marvel side.
I get annoyed when people use that as an excuse, and Pierce might know who. There's one person I know that he's like, "Oh, my daughter reminds me of Rey. I can't. I don't like the prequels, but I'll give the sequels a pass because my daughter reminds me of Rey." It's like, come on, you can apply that to anything from like, Walk reminds me of my dog. I love Return of the Jedi.
My daughter reminds me of.
Oh, go for it. Fine, you're good.
My daughter reminds me of Jaina Solo because I named her Jaina, but there because I love those books.
Well, I told my kids in theaters watching TFA, hey, they're gonna do Jaina and Jason Solo. I started telling them all the fucking backstories and all this shit while we're watching it, and then I'm like, what the fuck is this? So it happens.
to get back on how I feel about Disney, like I didn't hate Rogue One came out. I did not hate that movie. As half of it was boring. Yeah, I mean Sleepville, but when it got to the whole second half of the movie blows the first out of the water. But I know a lot of people like the first. There's some dumb crap in that movie though. I mean the squid torture thing is stupid. Forrest Whitaker's hamming it up. But I forget his character. He's like there.
Did you play Dark Forces though? I know you played Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy.
Yeah, Dark Forces. I prefer Kyle Katarn's origin story. I do. And then if you want it,
no, go ahead. I was going to say just to be honest. I'm sorry, I cut you off again after saying go ahead. But to be honest, they should have made more expanded universe stories about Kyle Katarn, about some of these great comic books,
I agree.
Video games and stuff. And it would have been even more popular. Those things would have sold like hotcakes. But go ahead.
But I mean,
especially the way they did the novellas.
They could have even went further, and like in the radio drama, Leia finds out about the Death Star from this governor, and it was like I think that would have been a lot more interesting if you had Leia doing like she finds out about the Death Star, and she's like, I'm going to get involved in this war. I don't care what my father says. I remember that from the original radio drama. There's a lot you could do with that whole like finding out about the Death Star. Still, I hate it, but any goodwill I had came after the next episode 8, like the biggest FU to any Star Wars fan, and then episode 9. I walked out of episode 9. I wish I walked out of episode 8.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about the Justin, about the Kyle Katarn books. They were done dirty anyway because you had to specially order them. Comic book stores did. But the thing is, though, they cost a lot. They weren't going to order them. You, the customer, had to place the order, and then from the Diamond comic catalog, they weren't going to buy because they were so expensive. Wait, I have comic book readers. You're giving me a book with big pictures in it. People don't. Comic books avoid the novelization of the comic book, unless you're like a huge store. You're not going to take a risk on that because these are comic book readers and book readers are kind of two different things in a way. So a person going to the comic book store is not looking for novelizations. Their favorite Batman, where's the newest Batman novel? No, they're looking for the Batman comic. They want to see the artwork. And so unless you specially ordered it, which I did, I may have been the only one, but I circled it and he said, I'll get you one. And so he bought me each one that came in, he ordered me one, and I had it waiting for me in my pull box every time one came out. But that's why those things are so daggum expensive too, especially the third one, because people had just lost interest or just stopped getting them. And it was just one of those things where I was just dedicated to getting everything, EU. So I bought them.
They had the third one at my library. I remember looking at it as a kid.
Oh, wow.
I'm shocked.
I would have checked that out and not returned it.
Yeah. Someone eventually did, I bet.
Yeah, I went back to look for it. It's not there.
I kind of felt like the Cassian Andor character was their version of Kyle Katarn. Their handy down version.
Blaster. He has Katarn's blaster, dude.
He did. There's like 4 versions of Kyle Katarn in the new canon.
And that's a little bit of the mistake. Now, here's the thing. Everyone gets mad. Oh, they copied that from new canon. Of course they did. They copied it from the EU. They have no creativity. Their creativity, a long time ago, I said this. I said their creativity lies in the novels that were sitting straight behind me at the time when I made that video.
But they plagiarized everyone else, though. Like, why don't you plagiarize the shit you bought, you morons?
But the thing is, just like you guys said, they're making poor copies of characters that were done way better in the novels.
What they did to Thrawn in the Ahsoka show is, I could not believe it. They made the most threatening villain, like one of the most threatening villains and intelligent villains from the EU, into like a guy that talks smart but acts dumb. I could not believe it. Plus, he had that dad bod, so it's.
It's what I imagine, or I guess Marvel Star Wars purists, you might be able to say something about this, but it's how I imagine Marvel fans feel whenever maybe their favorite character gets poorly represented in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, and like Everett said, when Disney first buys, you're thinking, oh wow, the MCU, and again, like Hank Pym creates Ultron, not Iron Man, right?
Right.
Well, that's again, I want everything as close to a direct adaptation as possible, but if you do it tactfully, like I'm not going to complain about it, right? But like, yeah, exactly. So like, a lot of people hate Captain Marvel. I do. It destroys like Marvel and other characters and sex swamps them and all that. But I really before that I hated Iron Man 3 because the first comic run I ever collected was the Dragon Seed Saga. It's the Iron Man by John Byrne with Fin Fang Foom and the Mandarin. And what do? They bastardized the freaking Mandarin and turned it into a dumb drunk to subvert.
What?
Now, I would have accepted the terrorist from the Middle East Mandarin, like in a heartbeat, if they didn't subvert him and they would have just kept going with it. He maybe get the 10 Rings of Power at the end of the movie or something like that. I would have been totally down with that. But to turn him into a dumb drunk, then to bring him back in Shang-Chi and rip on him again, and then make the Wenwu, the
Oh
new,
yeah.
then they made him stupid too. And they made fun of the character's name after Stan Lee had died less than a year prior. They had filmed it before, like right after Stan Lee probably died. And they're making fun of and laughing at a character that Stan Lee created, all while making money off of his product. Disgusting.
I mean, he was a writer for it. And also, I mean, sometimes some of the earlier Marvel stuff can be like a bit, not PC.
I love all the earlier. Go back, go watch this Fantastic Four, the trailers they've given you. Go watch the Fantastic Four trailers from the Fox Fantastic Four.
The
action, it tells you kind of defines who the villain's going to be, this, that, shows their powers, just the trailer alone. Ghost Rider. I love the Ghost Rider movies. Blade 1's like a perfect. Blade's weird. Blade 1.
Blade's one.
Very close to the source material. Very good. They changed some things. New York, not London, stuff like that. Blade 2, not a part of the source material at all. The Reavers and all that, they made all that up, right? And then Blade 3 is like an amalgamation of both. It mixes source material and whatever, and it just sucks.
Blade 3,
except for
Blade
Jessica
3, Blade 3, Wesley Snipes didn't give a shit. He they CGI'd his eyes in because he didn't want to open his eyes.
Jessica Biel did. Did you see the shape that woman was in? I mean, they didn't CGI arms back then, right? Or abs. And she was,
Jessica Biel, man, going back to 2004. Man. The best version of Fantastic Four for me will always be the Roger Corman version. I know it's low budget and silly, but that's the best. It has the best Doom too. We'll have to see what Robert Downey, not Iron Man, Stark or whatever the hell it is. But I'm interested.
The Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movies are fun.
They're awesome, dude.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
And the second one, that the kid's name's Danny, right? It's Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider. That's the second iteration of Ghost Rider as a kid. So I never caught that the first time I watched it, and I realized it on a rewatch.
No, I watched it with my best friend. He's a big Marvel nerd, and he told me that. I didn't catch it either, but he told me that when we were watching. He's like, "That's good." I was like, "What?" They're trying to be. He's like, "Oh no," because we were thinking, "What's Ghost Rider 3 going to be like?" It's going to be never show coming out.
Exactly, Ghost Rider 2 was actually a reboot, I believe.
Well, kind of not. Yeah. So, but what it was released under Marvel Knights, and they had released that, and they released Punisher Warzone, which to this day, I'm telling you, is the most comic accurate Punisher movie you'll ever see, including John Bernthal's Netflix one, because he doesn't get all talking about feelings and shit. It's not what the Punisher does. But if the MCU didn't work, they were releasing those Marvel Knights ones as Iron Man came out. So if Iron Man didn't do what it did, they could have continued on the Marvel Knights. I wish they would have continued on both as two different universes or something.
It was Fox that did the Marvel Knights, right?
No, that was under Marvel.
Was it?
Pretty sure.
Let me
The
see.
Fox.
I
I
could
like
be
the
wrong.
Fox.
The
like
licensing
Fox
gets very
X-Men.
confusing.
What for what? For what
Um,
show or movie?
Ghost Rider and Punisher Warzone. Were those made by 20th Century Fox?
That was Fox, yeah.
Okay.
Was it?
Or it wasn't the MCU, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the MCU.
Oh, it was Columbia. Yeah.
Columbia, okay, yeah.
So they could have had
So it
Spider-Man.
was Sony, like Spider-Man. Okay. I didn't know that.
They could have had
Yeah.
Spider-Man show up in it. They could have had a dark and broody Spider-Man. Well, they did that, but
I was
Yeah.
waiting for
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage in that and Deadpool Wolverine. I kept waiting for him to show up since
Me
they had
too.
everyone else. So I think that would have been awesome. He's still the best Ghost Rider for me. Not saying much, but
Yeah, well, there's not much to reference, but yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't there one in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes,
yeah,
there was.
that's
He
the
was
Robbie
terrible.
Reyes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Kind of
Terrible.
continuity person. Once they start, like, because a lot of people always dig on Marvel, like, oh, comics, they always do. Actually, DC was rebooting all the time and time traveling and doing
Right.
whatever it is. But
Resets.
Marvel maintained continuity up until 2000, right? They tried to do a reboot on the Avengers after Onslaught in like '97, and the fans hated it. And then they did a pocket reality with Franklin Richards to retcon it, and then Grant Morrison rebooted the X-Men, and that lost me right there because Claremont. I know Matt's not a big Chris Claremont fan, but
No, I'm not.
Chris Claremont made the X-Men basically, the Superman or Batman of Marvel to Spider-Man, right? Because there's Spider-Man, there's X-Men, and then there's everything else. That's just the way that it is.
Yeah, and I don't deny that he did that.
Yeah. But you don't you like character-driven stories though, don't you, or no?
Well, I just whatever books I got from him just a couple of years back was not impressed.
Did you read the beginning of his run though? It could have been the ending because the one complaint I give people is the ending of his run.
Well, I don't recall, to be honest, but I know that there's some Chris Claremont comics, and someone gave them to me to read and told me what I thought, and I thought they were atrocious. I thought there's like a billion. I can't remember what's going on, but they're fighting in the danger room and they're talking, and there's just so much dialogue. And I understand that.
He does have a lot of dialogue. There was a lot of dialogue
there's
all the time.
There's absolutely no way that they are running they're racing through something and they're getting in so much dialogue in one action sequence. And I know that seems like dull, but they're just, if he has to have this talk between Beast and Wolverine or whoever it was, if he has to, then just do it outside the danger room or something, have this long conversation in their kitchen, bedroom or something. And just, and again, I get it. It's the 80s. You had a lot of paneling and stuff like that, a lot of words and stuff. But I just felt like when Daredevil did it, when Frank Miller did it with Daredevil, it was just done convincingly. He's thinking it in his head too. But them both talking as they're flying down a building, and it's like, 40 pages of dialogue. Good grief. How far did they fall down the building? You know what I'm saying? Just that, I guess maybe that's a discredit to the artist who didn't know what to do with all the dialogue. But usually when you have these books that have this big dialogue, they're sitting, they're doing something, they're having a conversation. You cannot have a conversation when you're diving out of an airplane.
Well, I will tell you, so
I don't know.
The big complaint and the big people that they're usually pro Claremont Byrne, because when Byrne was teamed with Claremont as the artist, I think people felt like he had more control of the story maybe than some of the other artists, because when Romita Jr. came on, or like Jim Lee obviously was like new to the industry and stuff like that. So Chris Claremont probably had free reign more. So maybe that's why people complain. I don't know, man. I never noticed.
I don't know. And maybe I did read a bad run, but the other reason I say that too is because his Willow books are so horrible. They're so horrible. They're so terrible.
You have to.
But he had 17 years on the book, so you're bound to have some stuff somebody doesn't like, right?
Well, that's true.
The longest ever comic writer for any series ever, and that'll never be broken, right? Because now you can't keep a comic. Well, first of all, there's not really any comic writers left.
No one's sticking around that. Yeah, no one's sticking around that long.
No. Yeah, but Frank Miller Daredevil is epic, man.
Boy, but that issue right after Frank Miller leaves, you know when Frank Miller leaves, because the next issue is Daredevil on a skateboard showing off his cool skateboarding tricks to all these kids going, whoa, whoa.
I think that was a filler.
Totally awesome, bro.
That was at the end of his run. He left, and that's the very next. I had that run before.
I think they used a writer for 2 or 3 because they ended up getting Ann Nesenti after, and Ann Nesenti didn't write goofy shit like that. Mark Waid did.
Maybe not, but I'm just saying it was so. I'm saying at the end of Miller, that was the very next.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Yeah,
and it was just day and night. I was like, oh my goodness, he is just. He went from having this great storyline, and that's the problem that bothered me even back in the '90s. When certain writers would stay on for a book for about 20 issues or something, or 24 issues, 2 years to get their story done, and then they pull. And then you have someone else come in and write their story arc for a year or 2 years. They could tell. But the thing that bothered me, like oh goodness gracious, he did Hulk for so long.
Peter David.
Peter David, excellent.
Hulk. Yep.
When they decided we're going to reboot it, so do whatever you want. Boy, was that story great. Boy, was the Hulk probably one of the best Marvel books coming out at the time.
That's when you get Gray Hulk and all that stuff.
That's right before they rebooted him to a #1 issue and made him dumb and green again. They were doing a story where Betty dies, and he's starting to grow a beard. He's connecting it to his Maestro storyline.
Yeah.
That's how he ended it. And it was so good. And then the next issue, Hulk smash. No, I do not want to see this. Why did you reset?
Did you ever read 2099 comics?
A few, but I do not recall. Spider-Man was the only one.
You know who did Spider-Man 2099?
Who was that?
Peter David.
Oh, well, then that's probably why it was excellent. But Peter David's great. And Peter David, but with him with the Hulk, and did you read any DC comic books?
I did, yeah, in the '90s, early '90s.
Who is the guy? Doggone it, my brother's gonna kill me because I don't remember his name. He wrote the Demon. The Demon has on comic book, but then it said, "Hey, we're canceling it. Do whatever you want." Dude went crazy. This is back when I was working at a comic book store. Dude went crazy the last few issues, and it is some fantastic stuff. Demon. And before they reset it or ended it, one of the long runs I remember. And my brother reread it. He bought them all. I remember he bought them all after reading a few. He bought them all, the whole run by that artist. And now he's getting a John Byrne Superman run, but now it's morphed into he has Superman from 1990 to 2015, 2014, 2013 maybe. It has like almost a complete run of Superman. That's been his hobby lately, is collecting comic books. So he's been having a lot of fun, tracking down. He's like 50 issues short, not counting specials. He has a few annuals and specials, but that's been his new thing. He's kind of rediscovered comic books, which is fun. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's my new hobby. Since my other hobby that took over from Star Wars is dying, need to find myself a new hobby.
I mean, that's all I talk. I mean, well, that's not all. I mean, I rip on.
That's not all you talk about.
But I mean, that's what I'm constantly talking about, like, because that was my whole thing with Marvel, right? Like the MCU, like Everest was saying, it's like, hey, look at what they were doing and all that. They're so moronic, like Kevin Feige, first of all, could have threatened to leave at any time and they would have done anything he wanted, right? Because they were pumping out billion-dollar movies left and right.
Right.
Okay, even if like you want to do the woke and the this and the that or whatever, like it makes absolutely no sense when you know your target audience are 30 and 40-year-olds that are going to be dying off, like Everest said when he came in here, right? Why would you skip all the
I haven't forgotten.
Why would you skip the storylines from the people that are going to die off to get to the storylines for the kids that aren't going to watch this shit? And then you
No.
have no target audience to market to after the fact by skipping all those awesome stories. You know, they should have been doing Nova, Ghost Rider, Punisher, Daredevil. They should have been doing all that shit right away, not going to all new, all different. Hey, this tanked the comic industry. Maybe we should make movies about them. You know, like the dumbest strategy ever. But,
That comment's gonna haunt me, isn't it?
nah.
Dying off.
They're dying out.
Get your hospital beds. Yeah, fans of Return.
You're gonna
My kids aren't into this stuff. Like they are like doing manga and all that. You know what I'm saying? My daughter was the target audience for Ms. Marvel, right? What did they do? The first episode talked about how awesome Captain Marvel was and how she did this, that, and shit on Thor. And my daughter's favorite character is Thor. She said, "I'm out. I don't want to watch this crap." And that was it. She never went back.
I'll let you know, Pierce. I'd rather watch 100 episodes of that One Piece rather than watch Miss Marvel. I couldn't even last 2 episodes of that show.
No, I didn't even try to watch it.
Horrible. I didn't even give. One of my most unfortunate things was I saw Captain Marvel twice, and the second time I got roped in, and I fell asleep the second time. Horrible movie. I don't like when it comes to the MCU. I think the whole King. I think they're in panic mode after the whole King. Now. Kang situation, King beating his girlfriend and stuff. It's but even then, it wasn't that wasn't the issue. Kang no one gives an F about Kang, and it's oh man, no one's going to buy a ticket, so they ended up calling up, good old Robert Downey Jr. You're like, yo, you want come and play Dr. Doom?
And that's what he originally wanted to play in the MCU.
Oh, really? Is that why they did it?
Yeah. He wanted to be Doom a long time ago.
It might be. I mean, he can really act, so they might. I mean, if it's written right.
My wife was the biggest. She made me watch when I was going to get out. She made me watch WandaVision, which ended up being good. And after that,
I argue that's the best. That's the best out of the Disney Plus shows, even over Daredevil Born Again.
Oh yeah, definitely by far. Yeah, it's
my only issue. My only issue with that show is the bait and switch with her brother or whatever. They brought the actor from the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
They just did it for a dumb boner joke, and it was like, oh my god, are you really serious?
My bigger issue is that she did it under free will, because in the comics she's possessed by Chthon. So if you do that, she's a redeemable character. But when you make her just outright seek the Darkhold and do all this evil stuff, it makes her non-redeemable. You know what I'm saying? It turns her into a villain. Where in the comics they preserve her still being able to become heroic later on.
I would even argue that the best movie of it has to be Doctor Strange 2, because, and I don't say it's not over. I mean, it's not good, but the biggest redeeming thing about that movie is Sam Raimi was able to make Scarlet Witch into just scary as hell. I was like, I can't believe it. It's like, man.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, the writing was terrible. That Michael Waldron. I'll tell you what, I never watched Rick and Morty, and after all the Rick and Morty writers infested the MCU, I'll never watch Rick and Morty, ever, because they're terrible.
I enjoyed Black Widow. That was entertaining for me.
Oh, yeah. See, I grew up reading Taskmaster and stuff like that. So again,
you're telling me. You're telling me, Marvel Pierce, you didn't like Ant-Man Quipomania?
No. Kang's a time traveler, and they did time travel in Endgame. So then they had to make it multiverse, and that started like a snowball too. They should have left it more grounded. There was rumors, of course, whatever. But if they would have went genre-based, then they could have divided the heroes up, not have to worry so much about why isn't this team here, why isn't that team there. And they could have kind of condensed it to where it wasn't super big, because they just want now we're doing Secret Wars and not again. So you're going to get Dr. Doom at his peak, like the end of his arc as God Emperor Doom. Like, how do you do that in like 3 movies? Like, you don't, right? Like, you got to like build to it, and especially a character like that. That's why I covered Roger Stern. That's another great OG Marvel writer. He was very good at doing continuity fixes, him and John Byrne. But Roger Stern and Mike Mignola, the guy that created Hellboy.
Oh yeah,
he
Mike
did
Mignola.
art. Now, a lot of people don't like his art, but when you
I
read
don't
Doctor
mind it.
Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph, and Torment, that's about the mystical side of Doctor Doom, which is what we haven't gotten from any Fantastic Four movie or any appearance of Doctor Doom. And they have to go into hell to fight for Cynthia Von Doom's soul. So Mike Mignola's art mixed with the concept of what's going on with Mephisto, Doom, and Doctor Strange is freaking awesome. And it starts off where they're actually competing to become Sorcerer Supreme. So Doom comes in second, and because he didn't win, but he survived the test or whatever, he gets to ask one favor or whatever of the new Sorcerer Supreme, and that's what he wants, to go rescue his mother's soul, because it's something he's been trying to do for like decades on end and always fails. So, great story.
Oh, nice. Well, another great story is me going to bed, so I'm gonna have to cut this one. But thank you so much, Purist, Everest, Brady.
Yeah, it's my first time on a
everyone.
Matt Wilkins stream.
Thank you.
Well, I think
My
we
first
haven't we
time
had
too.
you.
Unlike
That's not
Scran,
bad, yeah.
I'm not afraid to
I don't
stream
know
with
who
Matt.
that is. Yeah, that Scran guy. It's even his time. He could have at least shown up and said hello.
I know, right? He didn't even drop in the chat or anything, dude.
I
He didn't-
know.
well, 'cause
I
he
know
knew.
that guy doesn't appreciate.
He knew
I
you
know.
were going to drop a link. He's
I
pulling
know.
a Mrs. Dash. He's trying to hide like Mrs.
That's
Dash.
exactly right. That's exactly right. And I'd like to thank Star Wars Theory for not showing up after the invite. Obviously, he does fear Star Wars Marvel purists. You heard it here. It's just been proven. So that's why he didn't show, but that's okay. That's okay.
My whole
And
plan
yes.
was to get on his channel, to get Matt Wilkins on his channel, because Matt Wilkins should be the one with 3 million subs. But it is what it is.
But either way. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Super late at night, but super fun. Thank you, gentlemen. And guys, have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. We will see you.